What's one misconception about Filipinas that foreigners have
We're not
that you
gold
think?
diggers. Not a lot of there are some Filipinas who are just after your money, but there are Filipinas that are not gold diggers, and also that we're not housemaids because they say that Filipinas are housemaids. It's our way of showing our love and appreciation for you,
But
taking
what
care of you.
about easy? They say, oh, it's easy. Just get on a dating site and you can smash the first night when you get over here. Is that a misconception? I'm talking about just the...
I don't think it's a misconception. I think there's a lot of truth to it.
Welcome to my channel, Sunshine Shoulders. I'm Calvin. Thank y'all so much for stopping by again. I got some special guests over here. Y'all may know who they are. Your name is?
I'm Chang.
I'm Rich, for Richie Rich, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all letting me interview y'all because a lot of people don't know Richie Rich and Chang. Me especially. I don't even know how old you are. How old are you, Rich?
57, almost 58.
How old are you, Chang?
I'm 39.
Wow. You look a lot younger than
Thank
39.
you. Thank you.
Really? I thought you was in your 20s.
Thank
She
you.
lucky.
But anyway, so that would be like, what, an 18-year
17
age
year
gap?
age gap, yeah. I'm December, she's January.
Okay, so, but you'll be 58 and she'll be 40.
Yeah.
So it's 18.
Yeah.
And me and Marilyn's 19.
Right.
That's really a good age gap,
I
right?
think so too.
Works pretty good.
Yeah. Now, is this the only foreigner you've ever dated?
No, actually, I'm not dated because I've met a foreigner before him.
Yeah, that's what I
But
mean.
just met in person and then that's it.
Nothing funny.
Nothing funny.
Oh,
I just
okay,
want to
yeah.
know if we vibe.
Right.
And then right off the bat, I said, I'm not gonna see you again. Something like that.
So that's true then, that Filipinos are looking for that spark.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I
that's
think
what
so.
Marilyn said. That's why she came to Dumaguete to meet me, just to see if
we
it was a
vibe.
spark. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's important.
It is important because for me, it's more of emotional attraction and physical attraction, of course. But I think it's more of the connection that you two have. Because how can you be together for a long time if you're not attracted or connected with each other?
Right. But let me ask you this though, okay. Now he's 57, be 58. Honestly, had you ever dated a Filipino man 18 years older than you?
No.
Would you consider it? I mean, just a regular Filipino man, not rich, just...
To be honest, I would be considering that. But the caveat is he has to not look his age.
No, that's not my question. Because...
But to be honest, I would prefer someone who's older than me, probably like 5 years older
Yeah,
than me.
yeah.
If he's Filipino, yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you, Rich being 57, he's a lot younger than 57, though. Is there anything about him that shocked you? Like, oh, he's a lot younger than his age.
Yes, at first because he's physically active, and a lot of men in their 50s cannot really perform the things that he does, like races and all that,
Yeah.
trekking and all. So that's what shocked me about him.
Because that's kind of old in the Filipino culture, right? 58.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
Would he be a Lolo in the...
Yeah, he'd probably be a Lola is a grandpa.
I'm a grandpa.
Yeah.
I'm a proud grandpa. Yeah.
But now you've been around Southeast Asia, though, for some
Been
time.
around for a little bit.
Where'd you come from?
I mean, originally, like...
No, I know you came from where are you originally from? But you
Berkeley,
told me that.
California, from
Okay.
Berkeley. But I lived, of course, in China, in Shanghai, China for a while. I lived in China for 8 years. And then in Japan for a little less than a year. And then I went home for a minute and then came out to the Philippines. I've been here for a little less than 3 years.
So she the first Filipina you've ever dated?
Well,
No, I'm just saying because it's going to make a point of mine.
she's the first Filipino I dated for an extended period of time. I mean,
Yeah.
I kind of dabbled and dibbled a little bit, but I didn't meet anybody that I felt like I was going to have a long-term relationship. And she kind of she kind of fit the mold. She fit the mold of what I was looking for.
So what about Chang then? Because I mean, other than her being attractive, you know, she's attractive and in shape and stuff. But what was it about her then that you know stood out versus the other women?
For me, I'm gonna give you a different answer than everybody else gonna. For me, I think if I'm gonna date somebody, you got to get on my program. You got to add something to what I already have, because you're not gonna give me anything that I haven't already had before in multitudes. So you have to bring something to the table. And I think Ching, she obviously she has a good sense of humor. She's very attractive, but she works hard too. She works hard. She's a very good mother. And it took a little convincing because I wasn't really looking for somebody who had 2 kids. So it took a lot of convincing, to be honest. But she grew on me, and I'm glad she grew on me. Yeah.
Let me ask you, what is your profession, if you don't mind me asking?
I've been a lawyer for 24 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, since 2001.
You know, one of the channels I watch is the lead attorney.
I love
you ever watch him?
I love Lead.
I know
Love
he's going
Lead,
through his personal struggle right now.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about doing something like that?
You know, we talked about it actually. But yes, but no, because Lead kind of, he does a lot of family stuff and he does a lot of criminal stuff.
Yeah.
You'll see if I'm watching criminal stuff, I'm screaming at the computer.
Yeah.
I mean at the screen. I'm giving the answers before everybody else gets the answer. But I don't think so. And the reason why is because I don't think that I think there's a lot of people doing it, but I don't think I offer what other people can offer to it. Yeah. Yeah. I do. What I've worked in, the area I've worked in has been contract law and tort law and corporate law. And those guys do different stuff. Lead does family law, he does criminal law. And so that's kind of his niche.
Now let me ask Shane, how long have y'all had your channel?
Pardon?
How long have you had your channel?
I think
on YouTube?
It's almost about 3 years. Almost 3 years. Almost 3 years. Close to 3 years.
Well, I've been on YouTube for over 5 years. I can say this. I told Rich already. Had you started that channel by yourself and talked about the titles and the topics that you talk about, you'd probably have well over 100, maybe 200,000 subscribers already. Had you ever thought about starting a YouTube channel on your own?
No. To be honest, when he offered me, when we first met, he asked me to do an interview with him. And then I said yes immediately because, you know, I want to do something different that I haven't tried before. So I said, why not? There's nothing wrong with an interview. So let's give it a try. And the rest is history.
Yeah, because you speak very good English. And I say that as a compliment because a lot of, you know, Filipino vloggers, they got that halting English. You know what I mean? But you speak fluently and, you know, like I said, everybody knows that they like to look at thirst traps.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And your PayPal could have probably blown up crazy. So what made you bring her on?
To be honest, her character. I know that's not the kind of person she is in the first place. She's not a thirst trap type person. And if she was, in honesty, we wouldn't be sitting here right now. It's just that simple. I've done all of that, so that's not what I'm looking for. And I wanted somebody to be on. I wanted to have somebody on, to be honest, that I had fun with, because this is fun. I mean, I still work, and I make more money working, much more money working than I do doing this. But this is something that's fun, and I wanted to have fun. And I actually didn't intend for us to have a relationship. I just thought, you know, I'll do an interview and this would be a great way to kick off my YouTube channel. But the chemistry was cool. We had a good time. We didn't know what the hell we was doing, but we had a good time. If you watch our first video, we had a good ass time. Did we even edit that video? I don't even know if we edited it.
We edited, we started with 1 hour and a half video.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Too long to
Yeah.
edit.
So y'all didn't meet on a dating site?
We did.
We
Y'all
did.
did? Okay,
We did.
yeah.
But once we,
Which dating site?
we started on Filipino Cupid, right?
Okay, yeah.
And we met, but once we met, I'll let you go ahead. I'll let you
So
go.
when we met online, immediately I wanted to meet him because I've talked to a guy online and he ghosted me. So I said, you know what? I don't want to waste my time again online. I want to meet this person since he's already here in the Philippines. And then when we met in person, it was like, yeah, okay. But I like him, but I don't think it's the same. The same goes.
I was.
Not my.
She's not the same person today that she was. Yeah, she was. She looked a little different, a lot different. Yeah, but I was cool on her as a person. But as far as a relationship, I was kind of like, I'm cool. But
Let me ask you something about your channel. What type of channel do you have? If I was to ask you, who are you trying to reach out there? Is it men only, or do you ever give advice to Filipinos? Because we only get one side of the story. We only get the horror stories of men, but you know there's a lot of horror stories of Filipinos out there. Have you ever thought about giving advice to the Filipinos as far as meeting foreigners?
Yeah, actually, we cater mostly to men who want to come here to the Philippines and start a relationship with a Filipina. But then again, we also appeal to some Filipinas because there are people in the comments, like some Filipinas who get riled up, especially when we talk about, the negative stuff about the Philippines, but we're just telling it what it is. So we're just telling them the reality, and then they get mad for what we're saying, but that's the truth. So we want to put a lot of Western men on game when they come here to the Philippines, so they come prepared and they don't say that they get scammed because we warned them already.
So why, I always ask Richie this. Why don't you think your channel has grown like I think it should? You should have more subscribers and certainly more views with the topics y'all have, the stuff that y'all discuss. If I did that, I would blow up, but they would come after me. They'd say, oh, he's exploiting Filipino women. And so what is it about your channel that it really hasn't caught on like it should?
Maybe this is how I think about it. Maybe our break hasn't come yet, and I think it's timing. So we're just waiting for the right time, the right person to stitch us because we've been stitched twice, I think, or featured
about 4 or 5.
4 or 5 times, but it added some to our subscriber number, but our big break is yet to come, and we just we talked about just putting out good content because there's one day one person or maybe some other YouTube content creators will stitch us, and then it will blow us up.
I think timing has a lot to do with it. Some people like P. She started a channel during COVID, right?
Yeah.
And it blew up because there was nothing else for people to do. And then there's other channels like Smart Girl Philippines. They started theirs with the Thailand versus Philippines thing, and that blew up, right? And that got a lot of fanfare. But I think we don't do a lot of controversial stuff. I think like you said, people will come after you. I don't think we do a lot of stuff that makes people want to come after us. We just talk about what we talk about. Sometimes it might be slightly racy, but I don't think it's nothing that people just say those mother and want to message us and say a whole bunch of stuff. But I agree with you. I think if you say something that's controversial, or say something that makes people, they love negativity, and I don't think we give them enough negativity.
Yeah, people love drama, and my analytics, will speak to that. If I say, oh, I'm leaving the Philippines, I could just be going to Thailand. Now they're going to come to my channel.
Exactly.
If I say, I'm sick of her or something, in my title, they think me and Merlin's breaking up, so they jump, to the title. I think y'all might have to get more creative like that because y'all really have a good channel. I don't watch a whole lot of channels, but I do watch y'all's channel.
Thank you. Yeah.
And y'all good people too,
Appreciate it. Yeah.
But I'm just trying to figure out who you are because people know me because I talk a lot about myself, but y'all don't talk a whole lot. You said you said she has children.
Yes, I have 2 boys.
How old
We
are
have
they?
2 boys.
14 and 9.
So how do they feel about Rich?
They love. love him. Like right off the bat, when when I introduced him, because when I introduced him to my boys, he's Uncle Rich, because we're working. We're not a thing. We're not in a relationship, and then we're just working, and then eventually, we had a sit down, and then it started from there, and then immediately they felt, they had this instant connection with him, and I think it goes both ways.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Well, I know one thing that I learned when y'all interviewed me was y'all don't live together,
We don't.
which is really good. I mean, because I've talked about that before. You know,
Next video talks about it. Right.
you can be together but live apart, and they said that's what the new thing is. You know, you both have your own space, because living together is tough.
It is.
It really is. But I think a lot of people didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of people assume that we live together.
Yeah.
And for me, not just for me, but we both talked about it. And I thought, the fact that she has the boys, before we make any kind of, major moves like that, it's important that we make sure that we're on the same page and that we're working towards the same goals. And you don't want to start something like that you can't finish, especially when you have two young men, two boys involved, because that'll really, they lost their father.
Oh,
And
wow.
and you don't want to put them in a situation where they feel like they're losing somebody again.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really important.
But of course, I've got to address the elephant in the room. We had talked about it. About you dating a black man. Now, for me, it's no big deal. But I'm saying, how did your family, how did you come to date a black man versus somebody else?
To be honest, I just realized that. Hold on. I just realized that when I was doing online dating, I've come to a realization. Oh wow, I've talked to black men, but most of it I talk to black men compared to white guys, and I can see the connection. I think we have a lot in common, like black men.
Yeah.
I have a lot in common, like the love for music, the same kind of music. I like old school hip hop. I like dancing, and I think we have the same sense of humor. And although later on I just caught up with the sarcasm and all that, but we have so much in common when it comes to culture. It's like we're just Filipino, but we're like black inside.
Yeah. But I mean, was there any, misconceptions, the things you heard, and then all of a sudden you met Rich and you was like, that's not true?
For sure. It's like we were talking, Miss Marilyn and I were talking about this with their interview with you, that when you go out with a foreigner, especially a black man, you have to have a chaperone because you don't know what's going to happen. But also, as we see in movies, in television shows, that what is portrayed by black people. So it's not really a good thing. And that's also my misconception, that a lot of black people are bad. And also, if you watch the interview with my family, they have the same misconception because of what we watch on TV.
Yeah.
So the roles that you portray on TV, so it gives a negative connotation. But fortunately, social media nowadays is painting, a different picture about what there's diversity now.
Yeah, Rich said that. It's giving more of the 360 look at black men. So it's more socially acceptable, because when I came over here in 2009, you saw very few Filipino and black couples. I mean, if you did, you stuck out like a sore thumb. Like some places I still go today, it's like they see a ghost when they see me. I mean, really. But let me ask you this. Can Rich dance? Because you
She danced better than I.
Why is this so funny when I say, can he dance?
He can dance because he just shows it to me in close family. You don't get to see his
What about, can he sing?
Huh?
Can he sing too?
He can sing.
Yeah.
Not like her. Not like her.
Because the people think that we can dance and sing.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
She's between us. She's the dancer, and she's definitely the singer. She
Thank
can
you.
sing.
But where do y'all see this going, in 5 years? Do you see yourself married or?
Married could be talked about in the future, but I see myself being with him in the next 5 years, like growing this channel and having a good life and happy life together. So marriage can be talked about.
Now, are you from the city or are you from the province?
I'm a city
So
girl.
you're a city girl.
Yeah.
So it is
Born and raised.
There's a big difference, right?
Yes.
Between province. Why does everybody say they want a province girl? Why?
I think that when people think about province, it's more traditional in the province. There's no influence of not a lot of people influencing you, because here in the city we have bars, we have malls everywhere, and you get to see what other people have. So I think it doesn't matter where you grew up. It's how you were brought up by your parents, because even if I'm raised in the city, my parents are traditional. They're born and raised in the city, but they're still traditional. So I think it's on the traditional values of your parents.
What is your profession?
I'm a professional teacher.
You're a teacher.
Yeah.
What grade?
I teach tertiary students, college students at the
Oh, wow.
university.
So you're like a professor.
I am.
Yeah. You said a professional teacher. What's that? Is that what they call it here?
Yeah, because there's a license that you before you get to teach. So before you can before you can call yourself a professional teacher, you have to have a license.
Yeah, so Rich really is the exception then in a lot of ways, that you've got a good job, so you probably didn't ask him for any money, did you?
I did not, but I don't think that we talk about this all the time, that you create your own luck. I don't think that he's lucky to have me and I'm lucky to have him. I think that I work hard for what I have right now, and he did the same for himself. And I think that we I think we deserve what you worked hard. How do you say that?
Yeah, for what you got.
For what you get. You worked hard for what you got. Thank you.
I wanted this for Rich. I'm going to ask you this question. All those topics that y'all talk about, because y'all talk about some spicy stuff.
Sometimes.
Is that from experience or? Because that's one thing I have against Filipino vloggers. They'll tell you what all the other Filipinos are doing, but they never tell you what they're doing. Like, oh, Filipinos, they like this and like that.
Right.
So do y'all get that from your experience or just?
We don't talk about nothing other people do. We just talk about the stuff that we do. But if you pay attention, I'm sure you do. We really don't talk about anything specific.
Yeah.
And we don't use direct, we don't say direct talk like eat the pie, I mean, like we kind of get around it, but we don't.
We play with words.
Yeah, we play with words, but it's all from how we think about stuff, from our own points of view. Don't really talk about.
It's not outside.
Yeah, no, this is just straight from us. Yeah.
Because
and also I think that when my girlfriends talk about certain stuff, I listen to them and I share with him. So so that's like a perspective from my personal experience and also from the experience of other Filipinos too.
But Rich spends money on you though, right?
Yeah, I spend money on him too.
Yeah, and the reason I say that because the typical Filipina won't ask you for money even though she needs it. I've never had one ask me for money because they know I'm going to spend eventually. I'm going to have to spend. So that would be a red flag if they ask you for money.
Yes.
But he does buy you things and stuff.
He does, but he normally asks me, what do I need? And we struggle with this one because I normally don't tell him what I need. It's my ego. Because I have
pride, your pride.
My pride, because I can buy those things. But if he's kind enough to ask me what do I need, and being a kind man that he is, he asked me for what I need. And you know what? I'm just gonna tell you what I need. If you really wanted to give me something, then I'll let you give me something. But I'm not gonna ask for anything.
Let me ask you this. What drove you to the dating site? What made you say, what was the final straw? You said, oh, I'm going to get on the dating site. I'm tired of, dealing with Filipino men, I guess.
To be honest, it's not that I'm tired of dating Filipino men, because I haven't dated any Filipino men when after my late husband passed. 7 years after my late husband passed, I feel that there's like an empty space that, and my friend told me that if you're not gonna put yourself out there, you may not meet the person for you. So just put yourself out there, just check whether or not you will like it, and then you start from there. Just open up your heart and then see if you can meet someone that you can vibe with, and you start from there. And then I followed her advice, and then yeah, I met a couple of bad ones too. I got scammed.
But I mean, your husband was Filipino, right?
Yes.
So why didn't you let the Filipinos go that route? Put yourself out there in that way. At school, your fellow professionals, church, neighborhood.
I think that for the most part, a lot of Filipinos don't find me attractive. So I've heard so many times that they call me several names. They call me ugly, and
Oh wow.
yeah. So you know what?
Yeah.
I went, and then when I started meeting foreign guys, and then I was shocked that they find me attractive. They find me beautiful, and I said,
Yeah.
oh, okay. So you go to a place where you're appreciated. Why would you force yourself into someone that do not appreciate you? So
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What about you, Rich? What made you go to the dating site? Because hell, you're a lawyer. You probably got good money, and you come from good pedigree. What made you go on the dating site? You couldn't just, pull up on one of these young women out here at the mall?
You know what? I thought it was easier. I thought it was just easier to do that. In my opinion, if I go out and if I actively look for, I think, how do I say this? I don't think it'll be difficult. I don't think it'll be difficult, but I wanted to be able to pick from a large quantity and weed it down and meet somebody that I felt like fit the mold that I wanted. And even still, you got to weed through some of the bad ones or some of the low hanging fruit to get to what you want. But I mean, I'd met a few other people before Chang, and for whatever reason, we just didn't really work out. But I just felt like I wanted a quality woman. One of my requirements has always been a woman with a job. If you don't have a job, don't. The only thing you can say to me is hello.
Yeah.
So a woman with a job was mandatory for me. Some other cats don't require that. For me, you got to be able to take care of yourself and be able to take care of your own before you come to me. I mean, I can add to what you got, but I don't have a cape and boots and tights on. I ain't trying to come rescue nobody. So you have to be able to add to what I got, and then we can work something out. We can work together. You could add to what I got. I could add to what you got. But so that's what it was.
Is there anything wrong with going on a dating site? Why is there such a stigma about meeting women on a dating site, like we're less than or something? I don't know.
I don't think there's a stigma anymore. I think here, because there's so many bad apples, there's a stigma. But I think when you go to other countries, I think it's the norm. I just think here, because there's so many, certain type of Filipinas that are looking for a certain type of thing, and then you have dudes who come over here and they're just looking for, the Filipino who is gonna show them some kind of pictures, or who is just willing to do X, Y, and Z. And I just think you got to weed through all of that. But I don't think it's the dating sites overall. I just think it's here.
Did it take you a while to meet Chang? I mean, you said you got certain qualifications, because not a lot of them on there are professors.
No.
On Filipino Cupid, certainly.
Not a lot of lawyers out here either.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you must have had to go through quite a few before you found somebody with a decent job.
Right. And that was the thing. Actually, I mean, the people I'd met before her all had good jobs. They all had good jobs. So it wasn't just a woman with a job, but it was a quality woman who was going to add to what I'm doing, and who was going to bring peace. And that was a big thing. Who's not? I mean, because there's cultural differences, and you're gonna have to be patient with each other, and you have to be with somebody who's gonna bring peace to your life, who's not gonna bring a whole bunch of drama, who's not gonna be all up, one of the social media addicts like a lot of women are here, and who's doing all of that. Just someone who's gonna bring peace to my life and what I'm doing, because I'm working hard. I'm working a lot, and I'm working hard for what I want to do. And for me to be in a relationship with someone, she has to bring peace. She's got to add to what I'm doing. She can't detract from it.
Now, let me ask you this. By her being a single mother, they've got a stigma too.
Right.
Was the fact that she was a widow, did that have a lot to do with the fact that, okay, I'm going to give her a chance?
It did. Because obviously, if I met someone with 2 children and she was not married to the father or wherever, I would have some questions like, why didn't he marry you? But the fact that, and by the way, we had also come from kind of the same background in that both of our previous partners had both passed away from leukemia. So we had something in common right off the bat. And so, but the fact that she had 2 boys was kind of like, it was kind of it took me a while. It took me a while because in truth, I hadn't planned to be with somebody who had 2 kids because I planned, I can take care of me and I can take care of me and somebody else. But when you had a kid, okay. Yeah. But when you had 2 kids, so now I multiplied. I went from 1 to 4 overnight, and you understand that's going to bite into what you put together and what you've saved up. So you got to be realistic, and if you're gonna get into it, you got to think about it hard and long before you make that decision, and that's what I did.
Let me ask you this before we get out of here, because this sun is really starting to beat us.
Yeah.
What is one thing that you would like for him to change about himself? One thing that counts, because people won't admit that there's cultural differences between Western men and Filipino women. Everybody thinks, oh, we got it all together, everything's going good. What is it that irks you about him? Because what irks me about Marilyn is she procrastinates so much. That's one thing,
I think that sometimes he's a tough guy, and sometimes he gets to, I don't know if sometimes it's a little too much tough, but I understand where it's coming from because I told him that I wanted to learn, I wanted to improve, and because his ways are 90% effective and mine doesn't really go out the way I want it to be. But, if I want to learn from a man who's proven something already, it takes time for me to be familiar and get used to his ways. And I think that, sometimes he needs to tweak a little on how to get used to my ways. Although my ways are not effective. But when it comes to communication, we struggle a lot with communication. Maybe a little leeway because sometimes even though I speak good English, I think he forgets sometimes that it's not my first language. Yeah. So
do you look at him? Because I tell Merlin all the time, look at me when we're talking. And because they'll say, oh, he's eating his words again. You heard that before? You're eating your words, meaning you tell off and you don't know what they're saying at the end.
Yeah.
Or something.
So sometimes it just comes here. That's too many words. And I told him that, you have to speak slower sometimes because you forget to switch when you're talking with me because when he's talking with me, he has this accent. And sometimes I can't catch up. I just say, okay. So that,
Does he speak Tagalog?
No.
At all?
No.
Yeah.
Just basic, like salamat and all that. But, it takes a while to learn a language. And he knows.
Yeah. So you say all that to say he's strict sometimes?
It's not sometimes. He's strict.
Yeah.
But, it's a good strict because that's what I needed, I think. And that's what I want in order for me to improve.
So before, your husband wasn't so strict?
No.
Because I noticed, Filipinos mainly run the household here that I've seen.
Yes and no. Because I follow whatever he says, I follow, but also he consults me when it comes
Yeah.
to decisions, when it comes to the family. But he's not as strict because he's like a he was not as strict. So chill guy. So just go with the flow. And then I think for a lot of Filipinos, we have this mentality, a survival mentality, that we deal with the things that's in front of you right now and need not to worry about what will happen 5 years from now. So yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That gets me with Maryland.
we don't plan ahead.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but there are certain events that happened in my life that made me plan ahead.
Well, before you pass it off, you want just quick, brief answer to this. What's one misconception about Filipinos that foreigners have?
We're not
That
gold
you think?
diggers. Not a lot of there are some Filipinas who are just after your money, but there are Filipinas that are not gold diggers, and also that we're not housemaids because they say that Filipinas are housemates. It's our way of showing our love and appreciation for you,
So
taking
what
care of you.
about easy? They say, oh, it's easy. Just get on a dating site and you can smash the first night and you get over here. What is that a misconception? I'm talking about just the...
I don't think it's a misconception. I think there's a lot of truth to it.
Well, thank you, Chang. I really appreciate it.
You're
really.
welcome.
So what is it? Probably 100 things, but just give me one to say, man, it's just driving me up the wall.
I don't know. You know what? If you don't mind, I'm gonna do the opposite
Okay.
because I want to praise her. Because honestly, she's right. You come from a military background. You've accomplished X, Y, and Z in your past. You have to be strict. You have to have a certain standard to get to that point. But I have to say, in 2 years and change, if you knew who she was when we first met, she's completely different. She's completely different, and doesn't mean there's nothing else to work on. It's finished. We all have things to work on, but doing better managing time, doing better not procrastinating, doing better, just a completely different person. Thinking about future things, not just thinking about now. I'm thinking about how do I raise my boys? How do I teach my boys this? How do I teach them that? She's just a different person. And
Come on, man. She does something. Does she smack her food? Does she?
No.
You went in the bathroom and she left a pad in there or something?
No,
they've done
we
something.
we got all of
There's
that out of the way.
something that...
I'll give it to you then, because we got all that out of the way. In the first month, it was don't leave nothing on my counter.
That's right, yeah.
I
need you over my house. Can I borrow him for about a week?
Sure.
No, we got all that out of the way.
Set some boundaries. I think that's very important for a lot of couples who are starting. I think that's what really needs to be established is the boundaries.
Wow.
So if you really want your Filipina
This is good stuff.
to learn about or to get in your program, set some boundaries right off the bat, and you don't need to worry about anything else in the future because she already knows how you get down, and then she'll just follow, and then it's a happy house.
Do y'all talk about this on y'all channel? Because
Absolutely.
Yeah.
you know what we do? We get off the plane and we just throw it together.
No,
And a lot of it times it don't work.
we talk about this all the time though. It doesn't work because there's a lot of cats that come here. They're afraid to lose this woman that they're with. God bless you. We talk about this all the time. I wouldn't want to lose her, but I'm not afraid to lose nobody because I understand what I bring to the table, and I understand I'm gonna be all right. But to answer your question, this right here is what. Right. You asked me something that gets on my nerve or that annoyed me. What's his name? What's his name? Fit, feminine, friendly.
Kevin Samuels.
Kevin Samuels talked about a woman who's fit, feminine, friendly. You look at Chang and she's very fit. She's friendly now. I'm telling you, when we first met, she was not so friendly. But the feminine thing, the fact that she makes a concerted effort to be more feminine. I think before she,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a little sporty.
Yeah, a little, yeah. And so now I think she makes a effort to be more feminine. You look at her now compared to what she looked like when we first met, how she sits, how she holds herself, and I appreciate that. But she's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Communication, though. That's the answer. You knew I was going to say that.
Well, thank
The
y'all
one thing is
again for your
communication.
time. It's hot out here.
Thank you.
You follow their channel, man. You're gonna learn so much about the couples, certainly, because they're a couple, guys. Y'all ask me a lot. Oh, they're a couple. And I never asked that question. It was obvious to me, but a lot of people have asked me. I don't know. Are they trying to hit a chain? Well, what is it?
You know what it is? Okay, we'll tell you what it is. When we first started our channel, we didn't want to say if we were a couple or not because we weren't.
Yeah.
So as we kind of transitioned, we wanted to leave it a mystery because we felt like that would draw more people in. And so a lot of people asked us over and over if we were a couple. And, the fact that we're not affectionate, we're not all, all that shit on the, all that on the channel, people are always asking questions, about that. But yes, we have been for a while and for the foreseeable future, as long as we're gonna be all right. Yeah.
Boots on the ground, don't do nothing stupid. Give that man his flowers, a tribute through music. If I don't know nothing, I know one thing.